Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ariel Johnson. Welcome to the Illinois Central Management Services Business Enterprise Program, our Higher Education Supplier Diversity Report Workshop. I am new to the team. I'm the Deputy Director of the Business Enterprise Program, and I think I've probably been here just about a month this week. So really excited to be here, to be getting to know each and every one of you and your organizations. As I get settled here with BEP, we want to learn ways that we can support you, ways that we can collaborate, and continue to ensuring equity and opportunity within our state. So we're going to share some information with you all today as it relates to leading practices within supplier diversity. And then, of course, we're going to specifically speak to the higher education report. What that means, how you get through it, and moving beyond that, how we make sure that those reports are effective, and how we can continue to move towards progress. If you're not familiar with BEP, just a little bit about us. Our mission is to promote an inclusive and competitive business environment that will help business enterprises owned by minorities, women, and persons with disabilities increase their capacity, grow revenue, and enhance economic impact in their community. We do this through certifications, as well as outreach, and then with the team you'll talk to today, compliance, and ensuring that there are opportunities extended to, that there are proper goals set in order to be able to make sure that these enterprises can participate in state procurement, making sure that we address any of the needs or challenges both to our agencies and universities as well as to our vendors. And so lots of moving parts within BEP. And so we always want to make sure that we are connecting with all of our stakeholders to make sure that we can have collaborative conversations, that we're solving problems effectively and quickly, and that we're being as innovative as possible. We are really excited to be moving forward and to be presenting some new opportunities to ensure equity and opportunity. So a little bit about why we're here today, why this work matters, why is the supplier diversity relevant and important as it relates to having a successful world, having a successful state. So supplier diversity ensures that there's economic impact that touches everyone, right? When we reach certain businesses that experience barriers and disenfranchisement as they work to scale their business and their community, we are supporting the workforce in their community. We are supporting families. We are ensuring that dollars are making it to those who have consistently experienced systemic challenges and barriers. And we want to make sure that we're intentional in removing those barriers, but also in preventing future barriers. A lot of times there are processes that are implemented not even intentionally, but solely because the right folks were not at the table, the right folks were not engaged to be able to say, hey, look at me, this doesn't work for me, and this is why. And so making sure that you have a diverse group at the table to be able to give feedback, insight, and letting you know what those opportunities look like. Also, having diverse suppliers and a diverse group of individuals that are servicing your clients or your needs. Also make sure that you're effectively being innovative in the way that you're delivering your services as well. And so a lot of those things can be done and implemented through having quality suppliers and quality vendors that are able to support your goals and your values and overall the mission of your organization. There's a lot we could talk about here, and you will continue to see different outreaches from BEP that are targeted towards the higher education community specifically. We've been doing a lot of outreach in 2021, and we want to make sure that we're being intentional in bringing you information, content, education that is relevant for you. And so again, please stay in touch with us if there are different outreaches or information and programming that you feel would be relevant for you and helpful for you in the work that you are doing. I just wanted to share some information on new things that are happening within our agency and within the state. And so we do have a new goal setting methodology. The way that this is executed does not necessarily apply to everyone within the higher ed space, but it is very relevant when we talk about being intentional in the way that we set our goals, intentional in the way that we create processes, and the way that we, just overall build our teams, you name it. That intentionality is what sets the tone for us to continue to do this work effectively. So as of February 1st, we have launched a new goal setting methodology, which really just means, in short, that we have changed the way that we've collected our data for the denominator of our formula to ensure that it's more inclusive of VEP vendors. And so this is just an example of ways that organizations can be thinking about how to be more intentional and getting really into the details, into the weeds of their processes to ensure equity and access. And so this means a little something differently for this group than it means for the state agencies, but I did want to make sure that I brought that up as we are having this conversation of being intentional and being effective in ensuring equity and opportunity. So we won't be before you all long with a lot of the information that we're going to share today, but because we really want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions and your feedback so that we can move forward in excellence. And so we're talking about the supplier diversity report, and Harry is gonna, our compliance manager is gonna share some information with us in regards to the report. And then if you have any questions, again, feel free to throw them in the chat or the Q&A feature here, and we will answer those. So Harry.
Thank you, Ariel. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Harry Reinhardt. I'm the compliance manager for the Business Enterprise Program. My purpose here today is to compliance, to make sure that the form is filled out by all the agents or by all the colleges involved in the MAP program through our state agency. I know you've done it a couple of years in the past. It is available on our website. If you need directions or copies to that, Patricia, one of our team members, will be providing that today. The purpose of this form is for the state to understand where the colleges are in this MAP program with respect to utilization of diversity vendors. That's what this is all about. On the forms, we ask for specific contact information of your school. We ask for the local and state certification that your school accepts from the vendors that you utilize. And we ask that you set a voluntary goal in each of the categories of your expenditure categories. We ask also, and finally, that you complete a narrative on the results and the methodologies that you use to meet these goals. And as Ariel mentioned already, we have new goal setting methodology. This is applicable for state institutions, but for you, we give you the availability to look for vendors out there. Not necessarily to use that methodology, but we give you means and access to look at that we certify in the state. So when you have procurements and you're looking for them, we want you to utilize all resources that we have available for you to help you find vendors for your procurements. This is the form. I know most of you are familiar with it. The URL on the left side of the form, that's where it is. It's in a on our VEP reporting page. You will see your reports from last year is also available there. Contact information, the very top of the form, you have our email address. If you need to speak to somebody about outreach or certification, compliance. At the bottom of that slide, we also ask for the total amount of your budget and all sources, public, private, alumni funds, etc. We ask you to define your goal, what you set yourself as a numeric and a percentage goal, and then we want you to also put next to that what you've actually achieved of that goal. And this is spend for all diversity as well as VBE and female-owned businesses as well. The lines down 1 through 5, and please, hopefully you can expand the, this listing. Give us your target areas of expenditures. Where are you spending your money? Legal services, is it vertical construction or construction? Is it architectural, anything you can categorize. We appreciate that you put it here with your own coding description, but please give us a little narrative of what that code represents. And again, as you read down the columns over, what is the dollar amount for each of these categories? What is the percentage of the total? And then your actual amounts. And please do not forget the narrative that is always attached to this form. Please get these forms in. We currently only have 4 submitted, and we'd like to get them all in and get them published on our website.
So now, really to the main purpose of this conversation, and why I was really excited to get ahead of you all today, is to talk about how we can support you, and kind of moving forward with a new lens of being intentional in the ways that we execute outreach, that we communicate to our vendors in regards to opportunities, or even vendors that may not necessarily be a part of our pool just yet, that we could pull in and ensure that they have access and opportunity as well. So there's so many creative ways that we could communicate the opportunities that each one of you have at your organization, but also the needs that you have. And so what are the challenges that you've experienced with vendors in the past that you would like to see improvement to help you do the things that you have to execute with excellence? And so how do we work together to be able to collect all that information from each and every one of you and to incorporate that our communications plan that we are executing, not just with BEP, but with organizations all over the state, from the Urban League to different chambers to PTACs, you name it, and talking with them about, we want to be intentional in the way that we execute our procurement. We want to be intentional in a way that we are effectively changing the narrative around economic empowerment and economic development within our state. And so how do we do so, one, without compromising the values and the operations that we have internally, and also doing it in a way that's really effective for everyone involved. And so those are the conversations that we want to start having. You'll start seeing different communications that are coming to your teams from our new outreach team. We have had a little bit of turnover, but we also are growing as well in the outreach division. We're being more strategic in some of the partnerships that we're going to execute to be able to bring information, again, not just to our vendors, but to each and every one of you. So I would love to hear from many of our attendees today in regards to different educations that we could bring to you. One thing is your procurement processes, are they equitable? Or are there very simple things, such as we have our buying plan here at the state that we issue to be able to make sure that businesses have the opportunity to be able to see what's coming down the pipeline. So again, when we're talking about businesses that are disenfranchised or that have barriers and really probably have amazing services that they could offer, they don't have the resources to have an entire team that is dedicated to forecasting and understanding what's coming down the pipeline and then executing on a bid. So they need a little bit more of a heads up, a little bit more education on what does this mean to be able to successfully execute on a bid with your organization. That may not be something that you are able to pull together or be able to present just in a really nice way on your own. Maybe BEP can partner with you, our outreach team can partner with you to be able to successfully do that. Maybe is that something that this group wants to do all together? Do we all want to get together and present this information to the business community? Because I understand we all are very much stretched, especially now in this virtual landscape, but that doesn't mean that the work stops. And so we are looking at different ways that we could get this information from each and every one of you. I will be sending out a survey towards the end of this quarter, not just to this group, but to all of our stakeholders, as we look at different ways that we can be more intentional in our outreach and our communications. As it relates specifically to the Higher Ed Supplier Diversity Report, this report is made available on our websites. And so again, when we talk about marketing and branding and communications to our stakeholders and broader, We are sharing this information, so to just be mindful of that, because it does speak to the values of the organization and the intentionality that the organization has as we talk about equity and opportunity. And so we will be promoting these a little bit differently than we have in the past. So most recently, the reports have just kind of, quietly been on the website, and if you go looking for it, you'll find it. But now, the way that we communicate in the world is very different. So there's social media, there are different events, there's television, you name it, to be able to communicate information. And so we want to be able to amplify the work that we are doing, the work that your organizations are doing. So these reports will have different highlights that will pop up on our media pages that the governor likes to speak to very consistently, as he is very much passionate and eager in this space. And so I just wanted to make sure that I articulated that for this group as we think about ways moving forward. And so I don't know if we have any questions. This session was very brief, because we just wanted to really do a quick reset and share some information and let you all know that you are supported here with CMS and BEP, and that we want to continue to collaborate and finding new ways to collaborate if we have not already. And so we did have a question finally pop up here. Here we are, I'll read it. Changing the law would be beneficial to reach BEP aspirational goals. Currently, must award contracts over 25K to the lowest responsive bidder to meet minimum specifications. We are happy to award contracts to BEP certified vendors, but if they don't present the lowest price, our hands are tied and we must award to the lowest bidder. I've heard this before. And so there's not really much I can give on that one, but to say that the education, again, having that intentional education on the front end to potential BEP certified vendors, I think that would be most helpful. And so for them to understand what your values are. And so you may not be able to say, give me this much, but you may be able to say, to be intentional in your pricing and to understanding what your values are. And what your needs are specifically, so that they can make a more intentional bid, if that makes sense. Harry, do you have any other feedback to that statement?
The only thing I would add is know who your bidders are. Is there room in their organization? Are they potentially certifiable by BEP? Do they have affiliates that they work with all the time that might be potentially able to be certified through BEP? Bidding, how that goes, I mean, there's various types of bidding, and there is allowances made sometimes for diversity bids. We don't impose our bidding structure, obviously, on the the educational community, but look for other ways. Maybe there is a process that you can put in place to give some kind of leg up, if you will, to a diversity vendor. Maybe there is an offset available in your budgets. I don't know, but my main point here is seek the vendors that can become certified, and if they have that ability, make that part of the agreement. You are capable of getting certified with BEP. You want the contract, pursue a certification, something like that. And that's all I would have to that.
That's great feedback, Harry. Harry, there's a question here about getting access to the diverse suppliers. And so how could our participants here be able to get a list or access of our database of our diverse suppliers?
Go to our website, cms.diversitycompliance.com. You can get in there. You can search by broad categories of services or goods. You may be specific. The state happens to use a coding system called the NIGP code. You folks may use NAICS or SIC or some other thing, but you can also search by description. Once you find a description, you add that to your search criteria and basically push the button, and it will display all our vendors, their locations, other services that they do, as well as a good demographic of where they are and all contact information.
Patty's taken us through the process here where you can search for the vendor. You can also check off different certification types. So if there's a specific type of business or type of certification that you would like the business to have, you can check those off or uncheck them and be more specific. If you're looking for a certain business name to see if a business that you are currently working with, if they are already certified, you can put that in here as well. And then again, we talked about the commodity codes. Those are listed here. And you can search based on the different commodity codes where you are looking to procure. If you do have suppliers that you're working with that are currently certified by Cook County as well as City of Chicago, then we have through our fast track program, they can very quickly get certified with BEP. And so that is another way that you can ensure that your BEP spend is also relevant and calculated, again, to Harry's point. They may already be able to be in the process much faster than going through the full certification process. So again, I will include all of these links in our follow-up email. And so you'll be getting an email from us before the end of the day, just kind of, reiterating the things we've talked about today, giving you some of the links to the resources, as well as the websites. And then please feel free to respond to that email if you have any additional questions or ideas or needs. We want to hear it all. So I know that this workshop was really quick and brief, which I hope is really a good thing for all of us who are on virtual meetings all day. And so I hope that this was helpful. If you have others on your team that you think need to be able to participate in this type of workshop, we will be sending you the recording of this workshop today. And we will be having more in-depth conversations and inviting this group to more intentional conversations on different topics. And so the form that was presented stated, this is for you, Harry, it stated private institutions. And so we just want to make sure that this is the case and that it was for private and not public institutions. Please clarify.
This is for institutions that are involved in the monetary award program from the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. If your institution is receiving money through the monetary award program, you are required to complete the form.
Got it. Thank you. For the certification database, so yes, there is a way that we can send out a list. Or Harry, does the list on the website export to Excel, or is it only viewable on the website?
Totally exportable into various formats.
Okay, so yes, absolutely, you can go and update it on the website and then just export to Excel. Wonderful. Any other questions coming through that I'm not seeing? Perfect. Please make sure that you take the time to send us any thoughts or any needs that you have. We hope that you have an amazing rest of your day and get out and enjoy the sunshine. If there's sunshine around you, there's some here over in South Loop. So we hope that you're able to have a great rest of your day. And we thank you so much for your time and your partnership. Have a wonderful one.